Hello and good afternoon once again to the Asli Unmukt virtual event. We are delighted to have you with us. Today we have for the panel Inspirational Innings. We have Ms. Sabita Radhakrishna and Mr. Dwarkadas Suresh. And before I begin, I just want to say that I hope you are attending these sessions and also visiting the exhibition. After this session, please do go out. And now as we begin the session with Sabita Radhakrishna is an international award-winning cookbook author, playwright, columnist, and freelance writer. She nurtures a passion for food and textiles and has been a textile and craft activist for over 40 years. She has written 4 cookbooks, 3 of which won international awards. She has written a textile book and an English translation of Sivaji Ganeshan's biography. She's also a television and radio personality since Doordarshan's inception in Madras in 1976. Sabita founded Udavi 5 years ago, where voluntary workers give their time to bring light in the lives of senior citizens in Chennai. So that's Sabita. And I will now introduce Mr. Dwarkadas Suresh. Dwarkadas Suresh, who's fondly known as Solar Suresh, is 75 years young, enterprising Chennai resident. He's a graduate from the premier institutions of IIT Madras and IIM Ahmedabad. His diverse experience in the field of real estate and 18 years in the textile industry, from marketing executive to CEO of Kothari Industrial Corporation Textiles Division and general manager at Binny's, helped him in his entrepreneurial ventures in the field of telecommunication and auto ancillary. Today, he may be retired from the corporate world, but keeps himself rather busy in leading a sustainable life in every which way. And as we begin the session, Sabita ji, I will start with you first. Can you share with us, you launched Udavi about 5 years ago to bring light into the lives of senior citizens in Chennai. What did you do? And what has been your journey in these last 5 years? Over to you.
Thank you, Monamita, for the glowing tribute that you gave each of us. And it's ironic that I'm talking about Udavi today, because today happens to be my daughter's death anniversary. So sorry if I get a little emotional. And yeah, so she was the one who inspired me to start, because I wanted to start something in, and I didn't know whether to do it in theater or debate or whatever. But I thought this would be the best thing, because she was passionately fond of elders. And we started Udavi 7 years ago. And a group of us, I approached somebody with a similar passion for elders. And these 2 people were running a store are still running a store called Old is Gold, which they are dedicated to their parents who needed help, to the mothers especially, who needed help in mobility and so on. And this shop has accessories. So they were the first people I approached, and they were very happy to come on board. And that was the genesis of Udavi. And I handpicked 4 group members, telling each of them that this is not a glamorous job, that this is something where, they have to feel for elders. They have to understand the problems that they're going through and the difficulties that they face, also coping with the younger people they live with or don't live with. So our 13 core group members are very, very active, and they're very devoted to the cause. And we have about 45 volunteers across the city, so that we ensure that they don't have a distance to travel and they can visit people who are living there. But on paper, it's 45, but actually it's only a handful of them who are really active and are there on call whenever we need them. And we have monthly meetings, which used to be held in my home because we didn't have funds for an office. And now, of course, we have virtual meetings every month, first Wednesday of every month. So the USP of Udavi has always been uh, to stave off the loneliness of people, elders who live alone, and elders who also live with their children and also feel lonely because they complain that the children have no time for them. So we have drawn up a set of rules and we train our volunteers as to how to deal with elders because we generally don't let them loose and visit anybody because they have to follow certain strictures and not go beyond the limits. They cannot go into anything personal like probing into the lifestyle of the elder. You know, basically it's just a friendly visit and also to assure them that they can ask us just about anything, call us at any time, and we have a good database where we can supply, you know, we can provide them with the details that they want, even if we don't deal with them. Sometimes it's legal issues, and like there might be property disputes and so on. We don't get into it, and we tell our volunteers not to get into this. I'll just show you some of this. Start with the slides so that you can see the visuals as well. Yeah. So our elders are from the age 70 above, and they are about 90, 95. And this lady that you see is Kamakshi Pati. She is one of the most militant people I've ever met. You know, when she likes to go on stage and talk whenever we have a meeting, and we always ask each other, should we allow Kamakshi Pati to talk? Because when she talks, she center stage and doesn't stop, you know, and no amount of reminding her that we are running out of time to put her off. And this is how she is. You can see her laughing, and she enjoys life. And once she got up on stage and said, I am not old. I am not ready to die because I still have a lot of things before I finish. So that is Kamakshi Pati. And we have regularly, we organize cultural meetings for them. And this is one such meeting where we had a ophthalmologist talk to us. We have people like a gastroenterologist, and they love these sessions because it pertains to elder living, and these people are sensitive enough to offer them advice as to what they can do. And believe you me, they always ask when we are getting the next session. So here you see this lady dancing, and she did this for our invocation. She's actually my Samandi. She's about 76 years now, Rajam. And she did a complete dance. She was very flexible. And this is what I tell the elders to say, that life doesn't stop once you reach your 70s or 60s, because everything has changed now. Age is just numbers, and you're as young as you think, you're as young as you feel. If you feel like dressing up, why not? If you feel like going out and meeting people, why not? So this pandemic especially has been a very challenge, a big challenge for us, because we are not able to go and visit the elders, which they miss a lot. But what we've been doing is we call them up very regularly and ask them what they want. We have offered them therapy in various forms. For instance, you see this dog and this elderly lady. She's actually a historian. She's about 88, lives in Annanagar in Chennai. And we collected them together. We have these cultural meets very regularly. And we have shown that a person can improve by having a pet. But elderly people cannot manage that because a pet takes a lot of your time in grooming, and you have to look after a pet. So we have a group which offers dogs, you know, on a borrowing system. In the sense, if you want to spend time with the dog, she brings in the dog. The dog is trained and very friendly, and you can pet the dog. I mean, it will not, attack you or anything like that, because they say it acts on the psychology, it works as a therapy, and it calms you down. And I know, because I've lived with dogs all my life, and only now having moved into an apartment and living alone, I think it's not wise of me to, have pets. So now this other picture that you see, we had we get sponsors. Our services are always pro bono, and we don't accept, big donations and things like that. But what we do tell people is, if you feel that we are doing something for a good cause, you can sponsor an evening. You can offer to pick up the tabs for a tea or a dinner or something like that. And one of our constant sponsors is Mrs. Neena Reddy of Savera Hotels. Every year we have a cultural evening at the hotel. And she gave us this beautiful beach house on, on ECR. And we had one of our other volunteers, who is an artist from Cholamandal. He came and, brought the sheets of paper and crayons and made them paint and made them draw. And some of them hadn't even put pencil on paper. So they drew, and he asked them to draw pictures of their childhood. So you should have seen the kind of things that they drew. And then he would call on each one of them and ask them to explain, what it meant. So this is our group at the beach house. As you can see, we are all having a very good time. And Monamita, you might recognize Sri Kumar. He complains that he's a minority. We have only 2 men on our board, and he always complains. He says, I'm overpowered, I'm overwhelmed by this, women who are there. But I seem to think that it's the women who come forth and volunteer. I don't know why, but this has been the case. And those who have volunteered, most of them are seniors themselves. One person we have who's about 85, and we put him down as a beneficiary. He says, no, put me down as a volunteer. I want to. So we did a yoga session for these people. And this girl is, she's on a wheelchair. I mean, she's lost the use of her legs. So she's not exactly, maybe she's just touched 60. So she's nearly a senior citizen, but she joins in all our sessions. We had a yoga teacher to come in and show them, and they just loved it. And here on this picture, you see one of our volunteers, one of our oldest members. She recently passed away. And we used to take them out and, sometimes to a cafe, sometimes to have light tea, and so on. And there are many times I host lunches for them, bring like-minded people together. So if you are going to ask me, where is Udavi going from now? I mean, from the pandemic stage, I mean, now to the post-pandemic stage, hopefully. Are we going to have meetings again? The thing is, yes. I think once we get the shots and things like that, we will move about, because they have missed us terribly. And, I can't tell you, it adds an extra span to their lives. We've been sort of kept going on because of science and technology. But there are other needs, psychological needs. Actually, there's so much more to say. But I feel, maybe we should move on. So I'm just stopping here, but you can ask questions after that.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask you very quickly, because we have Mr. Suresh with us also. So one of the things you definitely said is that most of your members, your volunteers, are seniors, right?
Yes.
So that in itself is something, because then there is occupation, then there is also some purpose in reaching out and helping. Yeah. So that was one that I wanted to ask. And the other thing that I did want to sort of hear from you is you're passionately working, all devoted to, and have worked in textiles, right, for maybe 40 years. So where do you see this?
Okay, I'll before I go on to that, see the picture on the left is, we were having a good time at Savera Hotel.
Yeah.
And the other picture, you were asking about, only senior members offering to volunteer. This young girl that you see is from an institute called BAM. That is, it's a branch of Banyan. You've heard of Banyan,
Yeah.
where they look after destitute women. And this girl, they BAM regularly sends us interns. The girls are very young. So we have to tell them and sort of nip their excitement in seeing people, and because they're collecting information for the thesis. So therefore, they go and visit all these elders, or now that they can't, they're doing everything online and gathering information. So it's nice for us to have young blood, because the young people will see things, in a different perspective, and we need new perceptions on this. You were asking me about textiles.
Yes, yes.
You see, during the pandemic, Udavi took a back seat because our visits were restricted, and there wasn't very much we could do except to talk to them. Then I turned to my other passion, textiles, and I found that a lot of senior weavers were reaching out to me, and they were desperate. And in Tamil, what they said was, Amma pasikkirathu. That means, Amma, we are so hungry, feed us. That smote my heart. I was really upset at what they said. And I said, okay, let me just do this. So what I did was, I sat in front of the computer, got through to them on the phone. And the people I appointed, I did something which I called the Weavers Initiative. It was actually just me and no one else. It was perhaps foolish of me, but I didn't know how else to do it. So I used to call up the weavers, talk to them on the phone, sometimes make these, WhatsApp video calls, and tell them how to use WhatsApp. A few of them did know. I appointed heads for each cluster. I adopted about 3 or 4 clusters in Jalakandapuram, in Arni, and then in Anakaputtur and Tanjavur. And my aim was to give 100 weavers sustainable living. So I talked to them, and then I tried to tell them how to take pictures on their mobile. I said, please get the help of your children, your grandchildren, whatever. And they did it. And then I had to tell them how to drape the saris, because they just sort of put them in a clump and then photograph them and send it. So it was so difficult for me to teach them online, but you'd be amazed at what they turned out. Finally, I said, put it on a clothesline so that the border and the pallu is seen. So I took these pictures. I collected them and sent them to my groups, my family, and then friends and whatsoever. You won't believe the response. See, these people, I said, you must have a bank account. So you must know how to give the bank details. So if you like the sari, you'd identify it, send the picture to me, and I'll connect you to the weaver, and you talk to them directly. And then you had to send the money, which went straight into your bank account, and then they would courier it. And I had to oversee, I had to make sure the sari reached you. So I could not believe that money started flowing in. Then in 2 months, I made sure, I collected about 3.5 lakhs, which went straight to their amount. And today the figure stands at 7.5 lakhs. It was a single effort, and I was very happy that I was able to do this during the pandemic. Then what happened is I started writing little stories on Facebook. See, I freelance for journals and newspapers, but the pandemic, even though you're not going out, there just doesn't seem to be time. And the print media is suffering. They're not taking articles. So I park them in Facebook. Whatever I feel, I just write. And you won't believe, I got a hefty donation. I didn't ask for it. It just came. So I said, I do not accept money in my name. I do not handle money. So I partnered with a trust, and I told them to send the money in their name and gave them instructions as to how to give this money to the weavers. We do not give them money. What we do is they give us an idea of how much raw material that they need, and we pay the shops directly. Then we pay the wages. So what happens is, when we do that, they get the saris that they're producing, they get it free. of cost. See, and the thing is, the older people reached out to me because they said, you have all along told us that we should not allow the younger people to go away. And once they go away, you can't get them back. So it was so heartening. They wouldn't accept money for food, but they wanted money for raw material and they wanted wages. So they've been doing sustainable livelihood. This gentleman is from Arni. His name is Bhanumurthy. I worked with him closely when we revived the legendary Tanjavur sari. He is a master weaver. He's a national award winner. He kind of invented the automatic shuttle to help weaving Korvai saris and so on. And he lives in Arni, and his is not a happy story because his children haven't followed him, and he was in distress. He was the one who reached out to me. And today the weavers are saying that they had a better Deepavali than last year. That was the biggest surprise to me, and it made me very, very happy. And
that's amazing. Yeah,
it's amazing. And so now with this donation, I've also turned to scholarships, giving children scholarships and getting cell phones for them and giving it to them. Now, this gentleman, he's in Anakaputtur. He does things with banana fiber, pineapple fiber, aloe vera, name it, and he experiments with these things, and he's weaving the most wonderful saris. So, yeah.
Thank you, Savita ji. That's really an inspirational talk, because while many people have said that during the pandemic, you're depressed, you can't do anything, everything's closed. You took that opportunity, you turned it around, and the fact that you've been able to benefit 100 weavers is very incredible. So thanks a lot for sharing this journey with us. And now, Mr. Suresh, Solar Suresh, as you're popularly known. Mr. Suresh, if you could tell us, what you do in terms, I know that you do a lot of work on solar, you do a lot of work on, on organic foods, vegetables, and also you're doing this biogas. So it's really quite a journey, right? It's like that whole sustainable universe. All the things you're doing is the sustainable universe. So yeah, that would be lovely if you could just share your journey with us.
All my ideas are from the villages. I mean, before that, Savita madam is doing a human service. After hearing you, I really don't know whether I should talk at all here. I have not done anything to the society as such. I'm trying to enjoy myself. That's about all. Anyway, all my ideas are taken from the villages. People are forgetting it or forgotten it. I'm trying to revive all my ideas. Whatever I've done, they're all from the villages, but new name tags have been given to make it exotic. Rainwater harvesting, nothing but saving water. Water, temple tanks and all those things, saving water, rainwater. Can I take 2 minutes? I'll ask Sushanta to show my video. Somebody has taken a video about me that has gone viral. It'll take 2.5 minutes actually. Sushanta, can you show that video?
Free electricity for next 20 years, no power cuts, free food, free cooking gas and free water. This house behind me is where all of these things are free. You don't believe me? We're back with another episode of Sustainable Homes, and this time we are in Chennai. We are here to meet a man named Solar Suresh. Interesting name, isn't it? His story is even more interesting than his name. So let's go meet him.
I've found various solutions. All the solutions are very, very simple. Anybody can do it, a common man can do it. There's no rocket science. It's economically feasible, practically doable. Technology is not rocket science, it's very, very simple. Very simple. My house is almost 50 years old. December 1977 we constructed. But all these installations I have done one by one. My first one was rainwater harvesting, which I installed about 25 years ago. Then, as I said, January 2012 I installed my rooftop solar plant. I have a huge
Sujay,
4-bedroom hall kitchen, nearly 25 lights and 15 fans. February 2013, I installed my biogas plant, domestic biogas plant. Okay, the domestic biogas plant, there are different capacities are available. I've installed a 1 cubic meter capacity. I feed about 3 to 4 kg per day, but I don't feed it on a daily basis. I feed depending on my convenience, mostly on a weekly basis. That's about 15-20 kg waste per week. In the biogas, methane gas is produced. There's no pressure in the gas. Therefore, the cooking is a little slow. There's a separate stove for this. The burner holes are big. From the plant, I was getting the organic manure. So I started my terrace kitchen garden. By middle of 2013, I started that. Though I have the terrace for over 50 years, I didn't do anything. Only last 5-6 years, after installing the biogas, when I started getting the organic manure, I scratched my head. Why should I throw it? Why not I use it? So kept to use. I went on adding pots. Today I got nearly 150 pots. Because of humidity, there is a lot of moisture in the air. This is something like an air conditioner. There is a compressor which compresses this moisture in the air and produces the drinking water. It is as simple as that. I'm fond of giving 2 messages. A, do not expect the government to find the solutions for you. You find your own solutions. Finally, do not curse darkness. Light a candle, light a solar.
this video has gone viral all over the world. People are talking about climate change. People have also got even Nobel Prizes. Al Gore got a Nobel Prize for talking about it. Greta Thunberg is getting lots of attention, but they have not done anything at all. I'm proud to say that I've implemented all those things in my house. I'm a doer. I do things. I'm not a scientist. I don't know whatever I've done, but I take the help of specialists to do it. I call myself, you said 75 years, that was a year ago. Today I'm 76 years young. I define myself as young. I don't allow anybody to tell me as old, because the whole mentality changes. By saying young, I keep myself quite busy and quite active. And I've demonstrated that all these things can be done by anybody, especially the older people. If only take this habit and they start doing it, they can pass time also very, very usefully. I got a WhatsApp a few days ago. They said growing old is natural, but growing up is is a choice. It is with you. I'm growing up. I'm not growing old. And I'm again repeating it, that I'm demonstrating it that anybody can do this, especially the so-called older people. You can do all those things. Doing terrace kitchen garden is absolutely simple. Rainwater harvesting, just save the water. You are also serving society in the process by doing it. All my items, I've done 9 projects in my house. I'm very proud to say probably I'm the only house in the world, not India, only house in the world, urban house in the world with all these projects in one place. I need a separate session to talk about all those things. But again, coming to living, younger living, so many things you can do. Today I don't have time. Probably when I was working, I had more time. Today I don't have time. So many people are visiting me. I'm able to motivate people. I'm able to answer questions, convert people to do it. These are all concept selling. Many people invite me to talk about it. There are negative people. First thing they'll talk about negative things. I hit them on the head without any hesitation. My age and experience allows me to do that.
Hello.
Most government officers, they've all visited me. TEDA chairman, Tanjore chairman, corporation chairman, military chief, Lieutenant General Upasni. In fact, Corporation of Chennai wanted me to be appointed as their brand ambassador. With folded hands, I said, no, I don't want to be linked up with anybody. Independently, I'm doing it. I've not commercialized any of these things. Everything I do pro bono. I motivate people, no consultancy charges. I don't take commission also from the vendors. Sometimes I spend money out of my pocket. I keep experimenting. This video showed a few things. 3 months ago, I've installed something known as hydroponics. It's a new concept coming in. New means about 3, 4, 5 years. But in India, it is reasonably new. We are 20, 25 years behind compared to the world. I grow vegetables in water as a medium, not soil. There are benefits like you don't need water. There's no consumption of water. There are no pests. In hydroponics, there are no pests. So that's a major benefit. This senior citizens can get trained and they can start spreading this news around. I'm also a trustee in Hyderabad, a senior citizens home called Smiles, where 100 inmates are there. There, I've installed a biogas, I've installed a solar, rooftop solar, I've installed a hydroponics, and we involve the senior citizens to run all these things. They're all finding it extremely useful, spending time also more usefully. I'm repeating it that I'm a doer and I want people to do it. Don't simply ask questions. Asking questions is the easiest thing. Complaining is the easiest thing. That's why my one sentence I said, do not ask government to find the solutions, find your own solutions. John F. Kennedy, 60 years ago, American president said, ask not what the country can do for you, ask what you can do for the country. That's what I'm trying to say. You touch your heart and say what you have done for the society. Complain. Complaining is the easiest thing to do. Especially as you grow up, the tendency to complain is more. I want to curb that, or I want to minimize that complaining tendency. That is the message I'm trying to give to seniors also through your forum. Please start taking action in your surroundings. Keep observation. I've all observed all these things. I don't know anything. I used to travel in Germany 25, 35 years ago, and I saw rooftop solar plants in individual houses. A country without sunshine, if they can do it, why we can't do it in India? Why we can't do it in Madras? I still call it as Madras. I'm not comfortable with Chennai completely. We have abundant sunshine. We have only sunshine in this city. And no technology, like I'm explaining today, that day nobody was there to explain to me. There was no Google also 10 years back, yet I found solutions. It is possible to find solutions. If only you open up your mind, meet people, talk to people, who can get these things done.
Mr. Suresh, I have a question for you. Do you have excess energy, or are you producing enough only for your home, or do you have excess solar energy? And how do you store it or distribute it?
There are two systems in solar, on-grid and off-grid. On-grid, during daytime, I produce excess energy, I give to the government. A 2 years work, I'm telling you in 2 seconds. Again, nothing original. This is what people do in Spain, Germany, and UK. Excess we give to the government. So I give to the government. This scheme is known as net metering scheme. There's a drawback in this scheme. During daytime, if there's a power cut, even if sun is shining, solar will not generate electricity. So we will have a blackout. So I have a battery backup system called off-grid. So if the power cut takes place during daytime, my battery takes over. I'm the first house in India. I've automated the whole process. So much so if I'm sitting in my room, I don't know whether my lights are working on solar or battery or grid. But Tamil Nadu government, I will not complain. They tweak the rules. I'm still under the old rules. I'm getting the benefit. I give 1 unit, I get 0.9 units back. But today, if you give 1 unit, they give only 2 rupees 28 paise. The scheme is no longer attractive. But I tell people, don't worry about that. You will not generate too much of excess. We build the capacity in such a way, you consume it in our house. Maybe 1 or 2 units should be generating excess. There's no subsidy available in Tamil Nadu. But subsidy is there in Gujarat, subsidy is there in Telangana, subsidy is there in Karnataka. I don't know about other states. But again, I tell people, I hit them on that. If they ask for subsidy, why do you need subsidy? You got a car, you got a TV, you got a cycle. Have you got subsidy? No. Yet you are buying it. Another question people ask, what is return on investment? Again, I'll hit them on the head. Why do you want to ask return on investment? You got a TV, you got a washing machine, you got a air conditioner. Do you calculate return on investment? No. Simply go ahead and do it. Biggest benefit is society. By doing solar, I'm solving the problem of pollution. I don't consume fossil fuels. I save foreign exchange for the country. In my biogas, I don't throw the waste outside. If you throw the waste outside, it breeds mosquitoes, germs, it's a health hazard. I recycle and reuse it. To that extent, there's a health issue. I'm saving health. There are everywhere there are societal benefits.
So this biogas that you have, is this something again just used in your home, or are you able to, I don't know, use this fuel some neighbors? How?
No, in my house, this is only for my home, but for Corporation of Chennai in Tiruttur, I established a very larger plant, 500 kg waste per day. In my house, it's about 4 kg waste per day. Attach an external booster pump. 100 street lights in Tiruttur are burning on biogas. Loyola College, we have installed a 1000 kg waste per day plant, attach an external booster pump. 1000 people's cooking is done by biogas. That hostel students' waste is going into biogas. This is a cyclical in nature. Complete. Smaller system, you cannot attach a booster pump, but it's only for my house.
And your organic vegetables, I found that also very, because that's something, you know, most people can quickly relate to, Mr. Suresh. You know, they may be daunted by solar or biogas, but, you know, having a few pots, doing your organic gardening, it's something you can do.
Tomorrow morning they can do it. This evening they can do it. Just buy the pots, the nurseries are there, buy the soil, put the seeds, automatically it will grow. In the process, you learn a little. Many people make a mistake, put a lot of water. They say in Chennai, how can you do it? There's no water. Boss, you don't need water. You need only a very, very small quantity of water. This evening, people can start with 3 pots in balconies. Now, houses are vanished. Fortunately, I got a house. Houses are vanished. In the balconies, you can grow. Now, I have at least 50 balconies here. I started growing vegetables and demonstrated them. Please do it. Some vegetables like, you know, vendaka, vendikira, all those things can be grown in balconies. Just put 2 pots and see the things growing. You will feel excited. It's possible to do that. Absolutely.
Thank you. That
I'm
was
repeating
very
it. You can do it this evening.
Yeah,
you can do it this evening, not tomorrow morning.
And do you use your kitchen wastes as fertilizer? What do you do for fertilizer for your organic plants?
There are 2 things. You can use that waste to compost it and create manure. I've gone one step ahead of that. I use that waste in my biogas plant. I get 2 resources. I get cooking gas and I get organic manure. Both I can get. But ordinary houses, if you cannot do biogas, simply take the waste, use it in a mixie, put a water, that's your organic manure. Put it in the pots, vegetables grow organically. You can do composting, you can produce fertilizers, organic fertilizers. Very, very simple ideas.
Yeah. It's really, you both have been very, very inspiring. I've been getting messages. Can you share numbers? We want to contact, we want to do this. So if I have your permission after this, I will share your numbers with whoever's asking. It's
most welcome.
Yeah. So thank you very much. Sabita ji, if there is one other thing that you'd like to add for the seniors here and for others, you know, about engagement and just positivity, positive mindsets.
See, a lot of our seniors have been getting depressed because they've been cut off and staying at home during the pandemic, not seeing other faces apart from maybe their children or not at all. So what I would advise is that every one of us has some skills. Some have more, some have less. And we should nurture these hobbies throughout our lives. We don't wait till, you know, twilight time and then say that I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that. You know, there are lots of things you can do. For instance, even people who don't know how to paint, they can just take, you know, a paintbrush and water and watercolors or whatever they like and start painting. They can do gardening. If they can't do it themselves physically, they can get somebody to do it. But, you know, just to watch a plant grow. I know Suresh has made it so simple. Do it today. Go to your balcony, put some soil, put the plants and see it grow. I wish it was so easy, Suresh. One thing I've not been able to grow is my favorite kothumilli and tomatoes. Maybe I'll come to your house and take lessons.
1 minute. Kothumilli is a very, very sensitive. You have chosen a wrong item. Forget kothumilli. There are 100 kires are available.
Yes, kires and plenty I have.
You know, kires are the easiest to grow.
Yeah, then
except kothumilli.
Yeah, positivity that you were talking about. it's very easy to slip into an, a negative kind of attitude and then say, I'm too old, I can't do this. Every morning you get up and say, I feel like doing this. This has been a wonderful day. Start with the gratitude prayer, which I do every day. And just say that I can do it. I'm well. I'm still young at heart. I can do it. And then socialize. Talk to other people. They'll inspire you. And do not get into conversations with people who bring you down or negate or complain all the time, because you will sink into depression yourself. So, and a good thing I tell you for positivity is a good belly laugh every day. And that is something I miss. I miss my husband. I miss my daughter. I miss my mother, because this is something we used to do every day, the silliest thing. And I can't tell you what it does to you. A good belly laugh, laughing at, things so ridiculous. Yeah. And reading is another thing which they can do, take up. Yes. Some of the
Thank
things
you.
I can tell you.
Thank you. Yeah. And I don't think seniors are exactly suffering from overdose of screen time, so that's okay. Or phone time or whatever it is, or Netflix.
Yes.
Mr. Suresh, if there's one thing you want to say before we close, I know you said don't complain. That's the first thing. Is there a second thing you wish to say?
In a lighter when I say, for every problem, there are minimum 3 solutions. You have to find it and do it instead of giving excuses for not doing it. Find reasons how you can do it instead of saying no, how you cannot do it. Complete.
Okay, so thank you very much, Savitaji and Mr. Suresh, for being with us. And, really, really inspiring stories that you had to share with us today. They're really a source of inspiration. These 7.5 lakh rupees, and they said they couldn't eat, and then to the best Deepavali. And Mr. Suresh's incredible journey of, turning his house into this whole sustainable universe that we have. So thank you. Thank you to our viewers for being with us. And I request all of you to please visit the exhibition. There is a lot of things going on in the exhibition. There is the senior living segment that you can visit, where there are all the senior living providers who have properties in the southern part of India, in the western part of India, and then the north. So please go and visit the senior living, and please scroll down, because when you look at the screen, there are only 2 or 3 showing up there, but there are many more down. Please scroll down, go to the senior living. We also have home care, dementia, and assisted living providers. And that's such a crucial thing, because, we have over, I think, 4.5, 5 million people living with dementia. And there are people who are providing care in dementia. So please go visit these exhibitions just to understand how it's being done. You may or may not need it, but it's just awareness of what exists. And then, of course, there is the travel partner. It's such a nice thing to see, because I know my mother visited the travel partner today, and she told me next March she's going to Mauritius. So, they run these they run very special, what are they called, tours for seniors. Please visit them. And then, of course, there is a whole battery of people offering technology, even for rehab from stroke. Okay. So what do you do if there's been a stroke? What are some rehab techniques there? Then there are people with standing crutches, which stand on their own. How do you walk on them? There are devices that you can use for dementia patients, so they don't walk out of the periphery of your house or compound. There are companies which are offering opportunities for seniors to volunteer, or work, find different a second career. And there, of course, there are people providing products and services. And last is a company which also has very specialized car seats for those who have difficulty in getting in and out of cars. So really, there is a whole battery of stuff out there, starting from senior living, like I said, to home care, dementia, assisted care, to technology and travel. So please take the time to go and visit it. It's all under this one single roof.
Only 1 minute. I forgot to ask Prashant to show only the 2 slides, only 2 slides.
Oh, 2 slides. Shushanto, there are 2 slides.
One is my vegetable garden, one is my hydroponics.
Shushanto,
Completely forgot in the while talking.
I don't know if he's there. Shushanto, yeah, he's there.
This is my hydroponics. Growing vegetables in water. This is my regular terrace kitchen garden. I got 150 pots now like this. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's
absolutely
really
for giving us an
inspirational.
opportunity.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Monamita.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
It's so interesting. Bye.